All right. Let's get to it. I mentioned the Colts earlier when we talked about Jim Harbaugh and his days in Pittsburgh trying to beat the Steelers as the quarterback of the Colts. I can't remember who their RB1 was back in 1995.
That's a good question,
game.
right?
That's a brain bender. Who was the guy he was handing the ball off to? I remember Quentin Coriat. I remember who I don't remember. I remember Jim Harbaugh and Quentin Coriat.
I know. I don't remember a lot of guys on that team.
Who the running back was, who started in the 1995 AFC Championship game for the Colts. If they were to get there now, it would be Jonathan Taylor, unless it wouldn't. You know, there's been this kind of weird and awkward.
Definitely.
Where does this really stand? The team, I believe, wanted to take the steam out of a situation that owner Jim Irsay unnecessarily inflamed a few weeks ago, and they hoped that the passage of time would get Jonathan Taylor to realize his best play is to play and to play for them. But he had still wanted to be traded. And finally, and remember, we played this right when the crap hit the fan. Chris Ballard from PFTPM, back in May of 2022, we talked about this dynamic of guys not wanting to be with teams anymore because Tyreek Hill was gone from the Chiefs and A.J. Brown was gone from the Titans and Devontae Adams was gone from the Packers. Ballard said, Mike Tomlin puts it like this, you want volunteers, not hostages. But sometimes you do play hardball. Well, they played hardball for a while, and I think they've retreated to Ballard's overriding point that it's not good for the team to have guys here who don't want to be here. So they've given him permission to go out and shop a trade. And look, Chris, we've said this from the beginning. All this stuff should have happened in March. All of it should have happened in March. If Jonathan Taylor wants to take a stand, and I fault his agent for it, and I don't know his agent, and I don't care who the agent would be, I fault the agent for this. If your guy's not happy, you know you're dealing with an owner who can be a little erratic, and that's putting it mildly. If you want this guy to get paid, you bring it to a head before March, because if it doesn't happen by March, I want to be traded to another team. And you initiate this process when teams have cap space, cash,
roster
and
spots,
unsettled depth charts.
Yes, right.
Yeah. In late August, and I don't know, mid-late August, August 21, you're kind of close to the start of the season. We're within 3 weeks of the start of the season. And I know last year the Panthers traded Christian McCaffrey to the 49ers, but that was more of like opportunity arose. And it was clean. It was just do the deal with the Panthers and take on Christian McCaffrey's contract. This is more complicated. You got to placate the Colts, and you got to pay Jonathan Taylor. And you got to do it all as we're getting closer and closer and closer to the start of the season. You got plenty of other stuff going on. You got to cut your rosters next Tuesday. When do you find the bandwidth to negotiate a major trade and a major contract with one of the best running backs in football? It makes no sense that this is happening now.
No, it doesn't. You know, I think we've said that a few times throughout the offseason. It's a little bit Zach Martin-ish that way. I mean, it all seemed fishy here as of late. I mean, you know, you kind of laid it out there. He gets to leave the team for a period of time. You know, that didn't seem right at the time. And I know, hey, they said there was some matter or whatever, but to me, it always kind of seemed like hardball a little bit. Like, yeah, there was still some, hey, I don't want to give in to you guys, and I'm going to try to find anything I can do to not be there, not practice, whatever it might be. Right? It definitely should have been handled back then. I don't understand that either. That falls on the agent 100% here. I don't know where this goes at this point. Like you said, it's almost a dead end, right? I mean, it's a dead end. There's no team I look at right now, and maybe something happens injury-wise, but I don't wish that on anybody, to where you look at it and go, you know, if they get the running back, ooh, that'll change things here. Ooh, now they're back in the Super Bowl window, right? All those teams that are in that window are pretty set at that position, let alone they've spent money, like you said. So I don't know what happens here. It's unfortunate. Now, you know, there's some other things about this that bother me, but, you know, we'll continue to unpack it. But I don't know where it goes, and I don't imagine anything happening here, and I think Jonathan Taylor's in a very tough spot.
My first thought was, this is a way for Taylor to find out that no one else out there wants to give him what he's looking for, so he'll realize his best play is to play for the Colts. So he'll realize he's in checkmate, that no one's going to give him $16 million a year if that's what he's trying to get. Now, what he may do is say, I don't care about what I want. I care about what I can get.
Right.
And if someone's offering me $12 a year.
That's yes.
Right. Someone last night was saying, they may offer more than the franchise tag. Well, the franchise tag is so freaking low. I mean, that's a non-starter. What, he's going to take an offer for less than the franchise tag is worth? He doesn't want something less than $10.1 million. It's clearly something that's going to be in 8 figures. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's what we're talking about. The question is, does he take less?
Yeah.
Just to get out of Indy.
Right.
And in the process of someone saying, hey, we'll trade for Jonathan Taylor and pay him $12.5 million per year, just to throw a number out there out of nowhere. What if the Colts say, well, we'll just pay you that? Oh, hell, we didn't know that's all you wanted. We thought you wanted 16. So, but I just think that given the calendar, given that we are 19 days away from the first Sunday of the regular season, it's going to be difficult to pull this off. And I think the reason they let him do it is they recognized the effort to let everything calm down hadn't worked.
Yeah.
So we need another strategy. Last-ditch effort to get him to choose to stay here. And let's see if it works. And I think the Colts enter it understanding, hey, we may have to trade him, but let's see if somebody is willing to give us what we want. Reportedly, they want a first-round pick. Obviously, that's not binding. That's just what they want. So that's their asking price. What they take may be less than that. But the real issue is, what is somebody else going to pay Jonathan Taylor? He's not going to just take his $4.3 million that he's due to make this year with the team having the ability to franchise tag him in 2024 and 2025. He's not just going to transfer that to a new team.
No.
This is the opportunity to get paid.
Right.
And remember, we've seen these in the past. Jalen Ramsey, Laramie Tunsil, guys get traded and they don't get their contracts on the way through the door, and they get so much more leverage that way. So I don't know. Maybe he's willing to do that. I just can't imagine that he wouldn't say, I want my contract on the way through the door as part of this trade. And if you're the team that's going to be giving up real value for the guy, you sure as hell want that contract done, because you don't want to inherit the problem the Colts had.
Exactly right. You're right. And the running back, you can't do that right now anymore. You can't. If you're going to make that type of move, you got to go, no, I need my money. That's it, period. Now, running backs and Jonathan Taylor, I would be interested, and I haven't heard. What would be his bottom line? I think that could be a game changer. These running backs are going to have to change their thought process here. And, maybe you don't get what the franchise tag would be, but maybe you get a sweetener this year and you get, or you get $8 or $9 million. That might be enough. I mean, that's double what he's making. It does. So maybe that's where running backs, Jonathan Taylor, you want to get out of town. You want to get to a place that, you feel like values a little bit more. Okay, you might have to lower your expectations on that number right now. And I think at some point, one of these top running backs is going to have to do something like that. Maybe a few more years on a contract, but it gives them some more guaranteed money and money in their pocket long term, even though the average year per salary is not that great. But here's the biggest thing that irks me, Mike. This irks me. It goes to the funny thing, that I want to call business ethics, or, even just treating people or employees the right way, right? The running back's not worth anything. Sure. Right. We know he's the best player on their offense. We know Anthony Richardson's got the potential to be that, but right now, Jonathan Taylor's the best player on their offense. He's in the conversation for best running backs in football. He's extremely important to their football team. 2 years ago when he was kicking butt and doing all that, they were a dangerous offense and on the verge of being in the playoffs, even with Carson Wentz peeing down his leg on a regular basis and doing things there, right? So his value is real. And then what I don't like about it is, hey, we don't want to pay you. The running back market. But then they're going to go, hey, we want a first-round pick. We want a first-round pick for you, though. So that's where it's a little bit talking out of both sides of the mouth. And I'm not just talking about the Colts here. I know this is a big league issue altogether. but it just doesn't look right, like we talked about. It doesn't look right like the best player on the offense, the guy who can beat all the receivers in a race, can wrestle DeForest Buckner in the middle of the locker room and you go, whoa, he's hanging in there and that's great. And he's going to get screwed over. And that's where it just doesn't look right on the NFL. And it doesn't look right on a personal level in a lot of ways because no employee would be treated like this in any business if they were that important or that good at their job. And I know it's the way it is right now, but it doesn't make it right. And it doesn't make it right on a human level either. And, that's, Irsay, Ballard, and a lot of GMs and owners out there.
And look, here's the other side of it too, Chris. We played the clip last week, I think, of Aaron Rodgers on WFAN with Boomer and Gio talking about the running back market, and he can see why they would think there may be some collusion. And then last night you have this team will pay and that team will pay. Well, if there's collusion of any kind in this running back market, do you think somebody's going to rush to throw a crap load of money at Jonathan Taylor on August 22, 23, 24, 25 and reinvigorate a dead market? Do you really think another team is going to do that?
Exactly.
Do you think after what happened to the Browns when they gave Deshaun Watson $46 million a year over 5 years, fully guaranteed, and they became the pariahs of the NFL? Do you really think? I'm not saying it's right, but let's be realistic.
Yeah.
Do you really think one of these other owners is going to sign off on blowing up the running back market at a time when they're sitting back with their bourbon and their cigar and they're laughing their asses off that the running back market has gone to crap? Do you really think one of those owners is going to say, let's go ahead and blow up this market and let's go ahead and start the push toward $20 million a year for a market where we get these guys, we get full use out of them, we've got the CBA that helps us hold them, we've got the franchise tag that lets us underpay the best of them. Let's just change all that. Let's just throw a bunch of money at Jonathan Taylor and create a precedent that all these other agents are going to try to ram down our throats. Do you really think anyone's going to do that? I sure don't. Not because I don't think it's wrong to do it, but because I know how they operate. I'd be stunned if somebody swoops in with a major market-shifting offer for Jonathan Taylor because nobody wants to be the next team to get smacked down unofficially the way the Browns did.
No, I agreed. There's no way that's happening. Absolutely no effing way that is happening. Now, what I could envision, and I've saw this a little bit in the past, right? In fact, Le'Veon Bell. I know just in that conversation, the year he was trying to sign with a football team, he had high expectations for what his number should be. The number started to drop to a yearly number where all of a sudden teams started to go, hey, wait, we got to call Le'Veon Bell's agent. We might be able to get him for that kind of money per year. Wait, it only might be that. And that got teams interested. And all of a sudden the phone started to ring. And I think there was a few teams other than the ones we heard about outside of it, right? So,
Well, we've talked about this before. They created this false narrative that the Ravens were in it, and they lied to the Jets. And the Jets had some sort of power struggle going on at the time. Mike McCagnon was the GM. Adam Gase was the coach. Right. And people in that organization believed the BS that the Ravens were about to sign him. The Ravens weren't even in it. So kudos. Well done, Le'Veon. But you know what? That experience is enough reason for folks who were around back in 2019 and who remember that to be very careful about this. Because that Bell contract, it was an outlier. It wasn't good. It was an aberration, and the money was never really earned. It was a waste by the Jets, and it's a cautionary tale for anybody. It's just another factor beyond getting yourself in trouble with your colleagues and 345 Park Avenue. You go out there and pay $16 million a year to Jonathan Taylor. You may regret it.
No, and you're right. You're right. There was that part of the story that was, but it was even a little bit before that. Before there was the, the Ravens are in this and might give them this kind of money. There was a little bit of the crickets like you talked about. And there started to be, and I know multiple teams who are got a little interested because I think they started to realize or hear that Le'Veon Bell might not get nearly what he was asking for, and that number might. And they, what? Oh, you'll play for $8 million a year? Wait, we're interested now. $7.5 a year, and that was my point. Is that If the running back,
but he won't do that.
I know
Taylor's
he won't.
not going to do that.
I know, but at some point they're going to have to take, like what you said, you're going to have to take some deals that you just got to get the money in your pocket, in your bank account. And I know the franchise tag is $10 million, but you might have to take something on a yearly average basis that's slightly less than that. But still, it's going to be money in your pocket. I don't know where it goes. There's very few remedies here for the running backs. It's messed up, like we're talking about. It really is. And it's messed up, too, just at a base level. If you're a fan, you're going, wait, a guy they want a first-round pick for who's awesome. He's got 3 rockets up his ass. He's strong as anybody in football, pound for pound. He's making what? $4.9 million. They're telling me he's not that valuable, but yet they want an incredibly valuable asset if you want him.
Yeah.
That makes no effing sense, and that's an NFL problem, and it doesn't look good. It really doesn't.
And, the other side of this, too, is you may have running backs start making bad business decisions just to get out of situations where they feel like they've been mistreated. We kind of have that with Josh Jacobs, although Jacobs reportedly is going to show up and take the 10-1. I wouldn't make it known that I'm thinking about taking the 10-1 because you're just daring the Raiders to rescind it. I would just go take the damn thing. Just go take it and be done with it if that's what you're thinking. But maybe he's trying to bait them into rescinding it. I don't know. But there's been this sense that they don't care about the money. Jacobs doesn't care about the money. Maybe Taylor doesn't care about the money. Maybe Taylor just wants out. Because let's think about what these guys do. They get the crap beat out of them. They are physically abused as part of their job. Every time they touch the ball, they are hit, often by multiple players. And it hurts. And you go through a lot to keep your body together. And you may get to a point where you just resent the fact that your current employer doesn't appreciate it the way they should.
Yeah.
So maybe I will take less to go to somebody who appreciates what I'm going through. So it becomes to a point where it's not about the money. They can say it's out, anytime somebody says it's not about the money, it's about the money. But it could just be that there's so much physical pain, so much emotional investment that goes into playing that position over and over and over and over again, running into that mass of bodies repeatedly, that you don't get as hung up on the money, that you just want to prove a point, and you just want to be somewhere where you feel like you're not just a piece of meat. You're not just that interchangeable part that they're going to pull out and cast aside and plug a new one in. So I don't know. But you're right, Chris. There is an inconsistency between the Colts refusing to even negotiate with him. Remember, that was part of the storm that all came up in July.
Sure.
They hadn't even negotiated with him.
Right.
So you don't even see fit to negotiate with this guy, and you want a first-round pick for him?
That just doesn't...
Makes no sense.
No, it does not.
I think they'll take less than a 1 for him, though. I mean, really, they wouldn't put out there that they want a 1 if they wanted a 1. They're putting out there they want a 1 because it will take less than a 1, but that just gets the conversation started.
Well, it does, but that's where I want to go into... again, back to the McCaffrey deal, right? I mean, first off, McCaffrey's making $16 million a year. He did not lead the NFL rushing 2 years before he got traded. In fact, he was hurt most of that year, and then hurt the year he got traded. They got a 3rd and a 4th round pick for Christian McCaffrey, and they knew they had to pay him $15 million a year. So that doesn't make sense. They know even if they trade for Jonathan Taylor, there's a new contract, but you're not going to pay him $15 million a year. It's going to be significantly less. And so that to me makes no sense either. And if they really don't think he's that valuable and they want to get something for him and help their football team and really move this along and whatever else, put him out, the 2nd, 3rd round pick, 4th round pick. I mean, I think that you get in the 3rd and 4th round picks, teams will start to call the Colts and go, wait, okay, we'll do this.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.